Establishing the kingdom of Yahweh on earth as it is in heaven envisions a world aligned with divine principles. In today's session, we will highlight our call to mirror heaven's values, love, justice, and compassion here and now. It's about living as an agent of transformation, showcasing Yahweh's reign through our actions and through his Ekklesia church on earth. This pursuit reshapes communities, transcending boundaries, bringing healing, unity, and hope. As we yearn for kingdom's fullness, we actively contribute to a world where Yahweh's will reigns, realizing Christ's power or prayer. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I'm Dr. Ray, and welcome to this week's Hosea International Speaks. We have been talking about the Ekklesia, or the church, and how she is to bring Yahweh's governance down onto the earth. And the theme of these sessions that we've had in the last few weeks is straight from the words of Jesus when he instructed his disciples on how to pray. The part that we have used when praying is to the Father. And this is what he said: "Thy kingdom come on earth, thy will be done as it is in heaven." That is the government structure Yahweh established in heaven, is the same government structure that it is to be used here on the earth. And the instrument he is to use is the Ekklesia, or the church. If you wish to see the institution of the church, you can go back to, I think, session number 62, about halfway through, and you can pick up with whom Yahweh is using in the earth to bring about his governance. We also said the Ekklesia, or the church, had its origin in heaven and not on earth. It was established on earth. We said the Ekklesia would be preserved in the days of tribulation. And I mentioned that it's not the great tribulation, because Jesus said to his disciples that in this life you would have tribulation. You can find that in John 16:32-3. We also mentioned that the Ekklesia would be given the keys of the kingdom. That is so when they will have the ability to open the doors that needs opening when it comes to operating here on the earth. And if they can open doors, they can also lock them. Let me mention here that the office of the apostle and his job description when it comes to establishing Yahweh's Ekklesia on the earth, that is exactly what it entails. And an apostle is one who goes to a far-off land, and his objective is to establish a government that is exactly like the one from the country from which he was sent, the one he represents. And the ship he is sailing in, which is usually the lead ship, is called the apostle, or in the Greek, the apostolos. The land that it's established should represent and resemble the country he is coming from, so that when the king or queen or magistrate or anybody of the country, representing of the country, comes to the new land, it would look, feel, and resemble in every way the country he or she came from. In establishing this government, there are certain things that the representatives should portray. We said that the Ekklesia should be connected to heaven and to the throne of Yahweh. Some other things that the Ekklesia should portray is being able to bring forth a new breed of true sons who will be loyal to the throne and rule and reign with a rod of iron. Now, that sounds like the Ekklesia is going to go out and beat people over the head in order to get things done. What it is they will possess a governing grace and prevailing power over the nations and the systems of this world, not the people. The battle the Ekklesia is fighting is a spiritual one, and their enemy is not people. It is the forces of darkness, Satan and his cohorts or his crew. If you really want to know, the earth is anxious and longing for the manifestations of the sons of God. We can see that in Romans 8:19. Now, the enemy of the Ekklesia will be dislodged from his place and position and be reduced in strength. Now, with that in mind, let's look at some concepts, accurate concepts, when it comes to the Ekklesia. We said in the last session, 63, that the church or the Ekklesia was the gateway of heaven and to heaven. That is, the Ekklesia is connected to heaven. This was done through the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus. And when he ascended into heaven, what he did on the earth was approved by his coronation and crowning at the throne when the Father said to the Son, "Sit at my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool." Hebrews chapter 1, verse 13. And according to scripture, the earth is Jesus's footstool. You can see that in Isaiah chapter 66, verse 1. Next, the Ekklesia operates under the authority of Yahweh from heaven. The Ekklesia is now an official agent of heaven's kingdom. It is a legal entity of heaven. It is deputized by all authority and all power in the heavens. Jesus is the king, and the Ekklesia is the executor of his authority and power here on the earth. The given authority of Yahweh is to enforce his rule and reign over his enemy, which is Satan and his forces. The Ekklesia also operates to express his government from heaven. The king is already on his throne. His reign has already begun in heaven now. Jesus is exerting his rule to subdue all his enemies down here on the earth, and he is doing that through his Ekklesia, the church. Those enemies are, yes, sin, sickness, satanic forces, and all situations that bow to his rule. And the final enemy that will be defeated is death. You can find that in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 26. Joshua 1, 3 and 5 says this, "And every place on which the sole of your foot treads, I have given it to you, just as I spoke to Moses. And no man," notice this, "and no man will be able to stand before you all the days of your life. Just as I was with Moses, I will be with you. I will not forsake you." The Ekklesia, next, reveals the one who is on the throne in heaven. The Ekklesia is the body of Jesus, and he, as everybody knows, is the head. It is the body that expresses and reveals Jesus to all mankind, and the head relays his message to the body, and the body carries that message out. And you can see that in everyday life, you and I. Your head tells your body what to do. It is the Ekklesia that manifests, now notice, the thoughts, the desires, and the action of the head. His plans, his greatness, and his nature are expressed through her, the body, on the earth. While Jesus was on the earth in his human body, he expressed fully the Godhead. So the Ekklesia is to express him fully on the earth. Next, the Ekklesia operates with the resources and reinforcement from heaven. That's why when somebody says the left, we understand the left in the country is being backed by billions of dollars. Our attitude should be, where did they get that money? Where did they get that backing? From the resources of the earth. And who made the earth? Yahweh. Guess what? We know the Creator. He's our Father, and Jesus is our brother. The Ekklesia spends from the pocket of Yahweh, and heaven's resources are available to her to finish her assignment. So when somebody says, oh, they're being backed by billions, I laugh. Where did they get their millions or billions? The church does not operate through an earthly finance minister. All of earth's finances are subjected to his kingdom reign. We can see that in Haggai chapter 2, verses 7 through 9, and says this, I will shake down, this is the Message conversion, I will shake down all the godless generations. They'll bring bushels of wealth, and I will fill this temple with splendor. God of angel armies says so. I own the silver, I own the gold. Matthew 6:33 says this, but seek ye first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. When we operate as Yahweh's true Ekklesia and are properly built on our mainframe, we will have no anxiety or worry about the needs of our lives or the operation of the Ekklesia. We will not have to worry about status. We'll not have to worry about needs. We'll not have to worry about lack or supply, time, lives, or we won't even have to worry about tomorrow. The Ekklesia that is plagued by deceitfulness of riches, the worries of the world, and the desires of other things outside of Yahweh's kingdom will be stressed out when money fails. You can see that in Luke chapter 16 and verse 9. Well, we're going to leave it there for now and continue the next session on the Ekklesia. We're going to continue about that and its accuracies. Well, let me tell you this. If you enjoyed this week, just why don't you hit the like button, which is popped up probably right about there, and go ahead and tell your friends, your family, go ahead and tell your enemies too, so that they can watch us. And the more they watch it and the more we get those like buttons, it kind of pushes us up so other people can see this too. And if you wish to be notified the next time we go live, go ahead and subscribe, and you'll get that ding on your phone. And if you wish to give to this, you can use a QR code and scan with your phone. Now, if you have any questions, you can also write me. You don't have to ask questions, just say hi if you want to. And you could write me at Hosea, intspeaks@gmail.com or Hosea International@yahoo.com. Well, I'm Dr. Ray, and I'll see you next week on Hosea International Speaks.